Don't buy a house with solar panels without doing some homework. I'm Jason with Florida Solar Design Group, and I'm going to give you some tips on what to do when buying a house with solar panels. Most home buyers get an inspection when they buy a house, but a lot are surprised to find out the inspection report does not include solar panels. You don't want to rely on what the seller tells you about solar panels. You should find out for yourself. So what questions should you ask? First and foremost, is the system even working? A lot of times people buy homes and they find out the system is non-functional or some aspect of it is non-functional or there's some deficiency with it. A monitoring system, if it's available, can give you a lot of information. And if you get an inspection by a professional solar contractor prior to the purchase, they can tell you if the system's working. That's the first thing to check. The next thing is, how much do the solar panels save? We hear quite often, oh, the seller told me that the system produces all the energy I need and I get a $0 electric bill. And then the new homeowner moves in and they get electric bills. Well, what's going on? Sellers tend to inflate the performance of their system, or they underestimate their usage. A new buyer might come in and use the home completely differently. They might heat the pool more or keep the air conditioner cooler. And there could be a lot of factors that change the relationship between the solar energy production and the household consumption. That's important to know. The number one thing you want to know is, how much is the system actually capable of producing, and what does that mean in dollar terms? The next thing is, what can this system do? How does it even work? Does the system have a backup component, or is it grid interactive only? A lot of buyers are surprised to find out that their solar energy system has no backup component. When the utility grid fails, the solar energy system stops working. And that's because you need batteries if you want the solar energy system to work in a grid outage. The next thing is, how good is the equipment that was used? Well, there's been a lot of solar panel manufacturer bankruptcies over the years, and you may have panels on the roof that are not even covered by a warranty. You may have an inverter system that is from a manufacturer known for product defects and maintenance costs. So it's important to know, do you have good equipment on your roof? Is the monitoring system even viable anymore? For example, SunPower recently went bankrupt and their monitoring system is completely useless now. So you have to invest in another monitoring system. So you definitely want to know, is the equipment on the roof good and all the other components of the system? We see a lot of systems out there with poor workmanship. The number one thing we see is wire management issues, where you have wires hanging down from the panels, touching the roof surface and things like that. If the original installer didn't use good wire management techniques or didn't secure conduit the right way, or anything's loose with the system, that could be a problem, and that's going to fall on you to correct. It could also be a safety hazard, so it's important to find those things up front. Any roof leaks should be caught by your home inspector, definitely. Solar panels typically don't leak. The products we use to install solar panels these days are fantastic, and as long as you use good workmanship, you have good training, and good employees that care about people's roofs, you're probably not going to have any roof leaks. But it is important to check and maybe double check, even though your inspector says the roof is good. You're going to want to know, are there any expected maintenance costs? Are any of the components in the system due for replacement? When are batteries going to be obsolete? What's the warranty on the monitoring system? Do the solar panels require any maintenance? These are questions you should be asking up front. Solar energy systems are mostly maintenance-free, but certain types of systems have products that are not designed for the 25-year lifespan of a solar panel. For example, some inverters are only warranted for 10 years or even 5 years. And when you have a system that's going to be on the roof for 25 years, what happens when one component is only warranted for a shorter period? You may have an unexpected cost ahead of you. What is the system worth? There's a couple different ways to look at that. The number one way is to look at the future stream of income, or another way to think about that is the future stream of savings on your electric bill. A good solar contractor can help you calculate that. And even if you get a back-of-the-napkin estimate of how much it's saving you per month and how much that will save you over the remaining life of the system, that will give you a good idea about how much the system is worth. The other way to look at it is, what would it cost me to replace this system today? And not only what would it cost, but what about tax credits? So if I were to purchase this system today and get a tax credit, how much would that cost me? And then you can figure out how old is the system, how many years you have ahead of you, and determine, what is this really worth? If I could do this myself, what would I pay for it? Again, I'm Jason with Florida Solar Design Group. When you go to buy a house, make sure you do your research if it has solar panels. Make sure you like and subscribe to get more information about solar panels in Southwest Florida, and I look forward to your comments below. Thanks again.